My brother and I were adopted by the wealthiest family at the same time. One of us stayed home to be a companion for the tycoon's daughter, while the other was sent to the old estate to keep the tycoon's mother company in her old age. In my previous life, my brother Liam, captivated by the young lady's beautiful and gentle appearance, unhesitatingly chose to stay. But the young lady, Jessica, was gentle on the surface, but a psychopathic sadist in reality. Within a few years, she had abused Liam to the point where his legs were crippled. Meanwhile, with the support of the old Mrs. Anderson, I became the youngest, critically acclaimed, award-winning actor. So, Liam, desperate, dragged me into a fiery death with him just to be reborn. When I opened my eyes again, Liam suddenly knelt before old Mrs. Anderson, snot and tears streaming down his face, saying, "Grandma, let me stay with you. You look so much like my own grandmother. Seeing you feels like seeing her, so very dear." A barely perceptible glint flashed in old Mrs. Anderson's eyes. "Seeing as you're so devoted, you can stay with me." Overjoyed, Liam kowtowed 3 times, thump, 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 then stood up, took old Mrs. Anderson's arm, and said sweetly, "Grandma, let me help you." Old Mrs. Anderson smiled and nodded, "Good boy, good boy." Then she casually pointed at me. "You'll stay with Jessica from now on." Liam pursed his lips, suppressing a smile, and said to Jessica, "Sister, I'll entrust my younger brother to you. You must take good care of him." He deliberately emphasized the words "good care." Then he shot me a triumphant look and helped old Mrs. Anderson upstairs. I watched Liam's retreating back, a slow smile spreading across my lips. No matter how twisted Jessica was, she was still just a teenager. But old Mrs. Anderson was a seasoned veteran of life, having lived for over half a century. "You only saw my glory in the previous life, but you have no idea what kind of living hell I actually endured. Since it's come to this, then you go ahead and enjoy your brand new life." A chilling voice suddenly whispered in my ear, "Haven't you had enough of looking?" My heart skipped a beat, and only then did I turn my head to look at Jessica. Though only 15, she looked genuinely sinister and unsettling, not like a normal person. Taking a deep breath, I immediately put on a sweet smile, ran up to her, and greeted her sweetly. "Hello, sister. My name is Alex, and I'll be your little brother from now on." Jessica's cold gaze swept over me up and down, and her dark eyes seemed to light up with something. I clearly saw the burgeoning interest in their depths. "You want to be my brother?" I nodded. "Yes." Then, tilting my head, I looked at her timidly, yet hopefully. "Sister, do you not like me?" A faint, almost imperceptible curve touched Jessica's lips. Her eyebrows raised slightly as she said with a light smile, "Like you? Of course I like you." I stepped forward and took Jessica's arm, exclaiming excitedly, "That's great. I have a sister. I have a sister." Jessica's body stiffened abruptly. The next second, she suddenly pushed me away. Her dark, piercing gaze fell heavily on me as I stumbled to the ground. Her thin lips parted, and she enunciated each word, "Get lost and don't touch me again without my permission." Moody and unpredictable, just as I expected from a little psycho. Liam had appeared at the second-floor railing at some point, just watching me. Seeing me being mistreated by Jessica as soon as I arrived, he seemed to be enjoying it. It wasn't until the butler behind him reminded him, "Young master, it's getting late. You should wash up and go to bed." "All right," Liam replied, shot me another triumphant look, and left. I, on the other hand, scrambled up from the floor, walked over to Jessica, reached out my small hand, and stubbornly hugged her arm. "No, I want to hug you. I want my sister." I knew that at that moment, I must have looked like an abandoned puppy, whimpering in a corner. Jessica's body tensed up again. Only this time, she didn't push me away. Although I wasn't by Jessica's side in my past life, I knew her well. The reason this brat was so messed up was due to a lack of love. Her parents died early. Even when they were alive, they fought constantly. Small quarrels every 3 days, big ones every 5. Theirs was a marriage of convenience for business, devoid of any genuine affection. Every time they argued, they threatened divorce, even saying in front of little Jessica, "She's your daughter. You take her. She came out of your womb. You take her, I don't want her." Later, during another fight, They came to blows in front of Jessica. Her mother accidentally stabbed her father to death. In her panic, her mother then killed herself. Jessica was only 5 years old then, watching the two bodies lying in pools of blood. She was unnervingly calm. Afterwards, she was always with old Mrs. Anderson. And what kind of good person could that old psycho Mrs. Anderson possibly raise? Before Jessica's father married, he often engaged in debauchery with old Mrs. Anderson. Threesomes and foursomes were commonplace. "You're so nice," Jessica said. "Can you please shut up?" "Okay, sister." "I know, sister," Jessica muttered through gritted teeth. "I really want to sew your mouth shut." My mouth seemed to be quite unpopular with her. When we arrived at Jessica's house, she dropped me in a room and left. This person was not only a psycho, but also a recluse. She didn't allow servants to stay overnight. Leaving a child like me here, how was I supposed to take care of myself? Good thing I wasn't really a child. After washing up, I came out wrapped in a towel. I searched everywhere, but couldn't find any children's clothes, not even adult clothes. She really wasn't cut out for raising a child. As I went out to look for clothes, Jessica's clear voice sounded unexpectedly, startling me. "What are you doing?" I silently took a deep breath, composed myself, turned around, and pouted. "Sister, I've had my bath, but I don't have any clothes to wear." Ever since Jessica saw me, those eyebrows of hers hadn't unfurled. Now her impatience was even more pronounced. "Why are you so much trouble?" I squatted down with my back to Jessica, whimpering, "Sister, do you hate me again? Why do you hate me? What did I do wrong?" Footsteps approached from behind. Even the carpet couldn't muffle them, showing how annoyed she was. Soon, Jessica brought a t-shirt and tossed it at me. "Put on, then get back to your room and sleep. Don't come out again tonight." "Oh." I took the shirt off my head, stood up, nodded at her, then waved. "Good night, sister." Jessica ignored me and walked away. I took the clothes back to my bedroom and locked the door. Sitting on the bed, I let out a small sigh of relief. The first day, she asked me to come early to cook for you. Breakfast was lavish, but I had little appetite, only taking a few bites before putting down my chopsticks, wondering how to ask Jessica about going to school when she returned. Jessica didn't come back until after 11 at night. I heard a noise from my bedroom doorway, took a deep breath, and mentally prepared myself before going out. Jessica was already back in her room, but I didn't see her when I went in. Faint sounds of water came from the bathroom. Knowing she was showering, I climbed on her bed. When Jessica came out and saw me on her bed, her face instantly darkened. "Who let you sleep here? Get down." I clutched the blanket, shrinking back. "But I'm scared, sister. I want to sleep with you." Just as she was about to flare up, I started crying. Woo, woo. I could see a deep sense of helplessness mixed with murderous intent on Jessica's face. She was truly a complicated person. She closed her eyes, and after a long while squeezed out an expletive through her teeth. I feigned innocence and asked, "Sister, what does what you said mean?" "Shut up." Jessica suddenly came over, yanked off the covers, and lifted me up. Just as I was about to cry out, she pointed a finger, and I quieted. She tossed me back onto the bed. "You're going to school tomorrow." This was it. That was too easy. A week after I started school, I finally saw Liam. He was dressed in expensive designer clothes, carrying a luxury brand backpack, and went from desk to desk placing gifts as soon as he entered the classroom. When he reached my desk, he shot me a provocative look, placed a small box on my desk, and walked away. After distributing gifts to everyone, Liam walked to the front and gave an elegant bow. "Hello, everyone. My name is Liam. I am the grandson of the wealthiest tycoon, Mrs. Anderson. Please take care of me in the future." This opening made me suspect Liam hadn't been reborn at all. Otherwise, how could a 20-something soul say such pretentious things to a group of 8-year-olds? What was the point of showing off to a bunch of kids? A boy in the class named Kevin pointed at Liam and asked, "The tycoon's surname is Anderson. Why is yours different?" Liam faltered, a flicker of embarrassment crossing his face, but the next second he lifted his chin again. "I was adopted by the Anderson family." "What's your relationship with Alex?" someone asked, pointing at me. "You two look so much alike, and you both have the same last name." Liam glanced at me, pursed his lips, and went to his seat without a word. The homeroom teacher then spoke up. All right, let's give our new classmate a round of applause, and then we'll start class. My desk mate leaned over and whispered, "Do you know the new classmate?" I just nodded, but didn't say Liam was my fraternal twin brother. After class, Liam called me to an empty corner of the playground and warned me, "Alex, even though we're brothers and we're adopted by the Anderson family at the same time, you're with Jessica and I'm with Grandma. We don't live together now, so it's better if we keep our distance in the future." Since he put it that way, what could I say? I could only nod. Liam looked me up and down, then suddenly burst out laughing. "So, how's it with Jessica? Not so great, huh? Look at what you're wearing. What is that?" He twirled in front of me. "Grandma bought this for me. What do you think? Nice, right?" Seeing I wasn't speaking, Liam lifted his chin again. "Anyway, don't come to me if you have any problems in the future. I won't help you since it's like this, Alex. Let's each suffer our own hardships." He finished speaking, turned, and walked towards the school building, muttering, "Anyway, I won't be suffering anymore." It was clear Mrs. Anderson hadn't made her move on him yet these past few days, but no rush. It would be soon. Sure enough, a few days later, I suddenly received news. Mrs. Anderson had taken Liam abroad for recuperation. In my previous life, Mrs. Anderson only took me abroad when I was in college. Why so soon this time? Could it be that the information I leaked had worked? Noticing my surprise, Jessica gave a cold smile. On closer inspection, that smile was utterly cruel. "This brother of yours has been asking for everything since he came to Grandma's side. It seems he's to the old lady's taste. Don't worry, that place abroad is very open. The old lady will make sure he's well fed." I could only feign a look of confusion, but in my heart, I knew clearly. It was Liam's prematurely exposed, greedy nature that had doomed him, and I had also given it a little push. Time flew. The next time I saw Liam was when we were 18. He came to my university as an exchange student. In the blink of an eye, we hadn't seen each other for 10 years. His appearance hadn't changed much from the previous life. He still looked lifeless, only he was dressed much more luxuriously than in the last life. Last time he was tormented by that psycho Jessica. This time the tormentor was Mrs. Anderson. Though the person changed, the outcome was the same. Fate, it seemed, was predetermined. We, this pair of good brothers, died together, were reborn together, now attended the same university, and were even assigned to the same dorm room. When I opened the door and went in, he was sitting dazedly on the edge of his bed. Hearing the sound, he jumped up like a startled rabbit. Seeing it was me, he looked dazed for a moment, but seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. "Oh, it's you." Liam slightly raised his chin, scanning me up and down. "How have you been these past few years? Has that psycho Jessica been good to you?" Just as I opened my mouth, a soft scoff sounded from behind me. Jessica walked over, stopping beside me, still holding my suitcase. Her indifferent gaze swept over Liam as she casually asked, "Since when did I become a psycho?" I don't recall seeing Jessica. Liam's already pale face turned even whiter. Just as I had a shadow of fear regarding Mrs. Anderson, didn't Liam have one regarding Jessica? He swallowed hard, his voice becoming somewhat shaky. "I was talking nonsense. I'm sorry." Jessica didn't look at him again, nor did she say anything. Instead, she scanned the dorm room, then went over to help me make my bed. She then started organizing my luggage, folding my clothes neatly, and putting them in the closet. After finishing, she instructed me, "The driver is waiting for you. If you want to come home after class, call me anytime and I'll pick you up. If you don't need me to pick you up, have the driver take you to the company first." Then she glanced at the dorm environment again. "Staying here for a few days to experience it is fine, but it's more convenient to live in the off-campus apartment." I had finally managed to live like a normal person in this life. And now, like any other college student, I didn't want to move off campus. I want to live here. Jessica nodded. "All right, everything's set. I'll be going now." She walked up to me, just like when I was little, gently ruffled my hair, then shot a warning glance at Liam before leaving. I walked her downstairs, and as soon as I returned, I met Liam's incredulous gaze. He eagerly asked me, "Why is she so good to you?" Liam's breakdown came so quickly, it was beyond my expectations. I deliberately put on a matter-of-fact expression. "She's my sister. Isn't it natural for her to be good to me? Is Grandma Anderson not good to you? Liam collapsed. He slumped onto the edge of the bed, clutching his head as if trapped in extreme pain and unable to escape, muttering to himself, "It's not like this. It shouldn't be like this." Suddenly, he stood up again and lunged at me, trying to pull off my clothes. I pushed him away. "What are you doing?" Liam's face was flushed, and he kept shaking his head, the flesh on his face trembling. As if possessed, he reached for me again. "Take off your clothes. Let me see. Let me see. I want to see." He was truly traumatized, even more so than I was in my previous life. Mrs. Anderson certainly hadn't disappointed me. I pushed Liam away again, raised my hand, and slapped him hard across the face. "Are you awake now?" Liam stood there motionless, as if his power had been cut. I went up, grabbed his arm, and feigned concern. Brother, what's wrong with you? Don't scare me." Liam forcefully pushed me away, glaring at me with resentment, tears of unwillingness streaming down his face. "Why? Why is everyone so good to you? Mrs. Anderson and Jessica, too. Why? Why are they doing this to me? Why? Oh, my dear brother, how could you know? In my previous life, I was tormented mercilessly by Mrs. Anderson. If you hadn't burned me to death, I would have continued to live in that hell on earth with no idea when I could save myself. Actually, in my previous life, I did think about saving myself, calling the police, or running away. In short, once I grew up, I could have done it, but that psycho Mrs. Anderson seemed to see right through my thoughts. Don't even think about escaping. And don't think about asking the police for help. Even if you don't consider whether your little arms can fight my big legs, you should think about your own brother. Your every move is under my watch. Don't be impulsive, or it won't just be your little life that's forfeit. I'll make sure your brother accompanies you to the grave. Little Alex, you just obediently stay by Grandma's side and keep Grandma company, and everything Grandma has will be yours in the future. Isn't Grandma good to you?" Living under her constant pressure and psychological manipulation, I eventually compromised. Yet, it was this very brother I wanted to protect who, out of jealousy, burned me to death. My previous life was truly a joke. And isn't Liam's life, in this incarnation, just as much of one? I looked at him faintly, a silent, cold sneer on my face. "Brother, did Grandma abuse you? What did she do to you?" Liam wiped away his tears and suddenly smiled at me again. "I'm fine. I'm great. I've just been under a lot of pressure lately. You don't know yet, do you? I'm going to be a big star." I nodded. "Well, congratulations. The entertainment industry that is devoid of moral bottom lines is no good place to be, especially since it was Mrs. Anderson who sent him in. What would happen was already self-evident." Liam proudly lifted his chin. "Once I become a big star, everything will resolve itself. If anyone bullies me again, my fans won't stand for it." Seemingly envisioning a beautiful future, the flesh on Liam's face began to tremble again. This time, it was trembling with excitement. Even though it was already autumn, the weather was still very hot. Waking up in the morning, I looked at Liam in his long-sleeve pajamas and deliberately asked, "Aren't you hot wearing long-sleeve pajamas now?" Actually, I just asked casually to provoke him if I could. If not, it was no loss to me. But this sentence really did provoke Liam. "What I wear is none of your business." I feigned anger. "I was just concerned about you. Why are you being so aggressive?" I got out of bed and went to the bathroom to wash up. Liam's voice suddenly sounded from behind me again. "Alex, you're not having a good time either, are you?" My footsteps paused, and I turned to look at him, pretending I hadn't heard clearly. "What did you say?" "Stop pretending," Liam sneered. "Jessica is the best actress, and now you're just as good at acting." His gaze fell on my legs, and he laughed. "I advise you to use your legs more while you can still run and jump. Don't regret it later when you can't use them anymore." He was talking about her in the previous life, wasn't he? I glanced down at my legs, muttered, "Don't talk nonsense," and went into the bathroom. Of course, Liam wasn't talking nonsense. He was just waiting for the day Jessica broke my legs so he could laugh at me. But soon my chance for a counterattack came, and I soon got this chance. After the military training ended, Jessica came to school to pick me up. Grandma said she wants us both to go back to the old estate for a meal. Jessica said, her hands on the steering wheel, eyes on the road, her voice calm, and without much fluctuation. I was going to see that person again. I looked out the window and just gave a faint, Jessica seemed to glance sideways at me. Nervous, or is it because you don't want to see Grandma? I turned back and sat properly, just about to speak when I heard Jessica say again, if you don't want to see her, you don't have to. That old woman, there's nothing much to see. Yes. How could Jessica not understand her grandmother? Although Grandma and I haven't seen each other for 10 years, but she's your grandmother, so she's my grandmother. We should still see her. After I finished, I added, it's not like we see her every day. Jessica said, they say bad things last 1,000 years, and it's true. Mrs. Anderson was over 80 this year, and apart from a slight heart condition, she was quite healthy. Even a heart problem wasn't a big deal for her. She had money, and any special medicine cost hundreds of thousands or even millions. It seemed the money wasn't spent in vain. Maybe Mrs. Anderson had really found the secret to immortality. I sneered inwardly, but maintained a demure expression as I followed Jessica inside. Grandma. Jessica's voice was flat as she greeted her. I bowed, hello, Grandma. Mrs. Anderson was now using a cane. She looked me up and down and then smiled. That gaze was all too familiar, like a toad flicking its tongue over my skin. Truly disgusting. Jessica moved slightly closer to me, just enough to block Mrs. Anderson's gaze from landing on me. Mrs. Anderson withdrew her gaze, nodded, and took out a red envelope for me. Alex, Grandma has been abroad these past few years and hasn't seen you much, nor given you any gifts. I've neglected you. This is a small token from Grandma. Please accept it. Don't say Grandma favors your brother, okay? Looking at Mrs. Anderson's outstretched hand made me nauseous, and I hesitated, unwilling to take it. Liam came downstairs, still wearing long-sleeve clothes. It's a red envelope from Grandma. Just take it. You can't refuse an elder's kindness. It's impolite. He walked over and urged me again. Quick, take it. Forget it. Why refuse free money? Am I a fool? Just as I was about to reach out, a large hand took the red envelope from Mrs. Anderson first. She opened it, took out a bank card, and chuckled. Looks like a considerable sum, Grandma. I'll accept it on Alex's behalf. Then she reminded me. Alex, thank Grandma. I quickly nodded. Thank you, Grandma. Mrs. Anderson hummed in acknowledgement. After all, you didn't grow up by my side, so you're distant with me, unlike your brother. She patted the seat beside her. Liam, sit next to Grandma. Liam hesitated for only a second before sitting down. Mrs. Anderson's aged hand seemingly unintentionally patted Liam's thigh, but she was looking at me. Alex, it's not that Grandma is criticizing you, but you're not as likable as your brother. You haven't smiled since you came in. Looking at this old psycho's face, I really couldn't smile. I even wanted to punch her teeth out, but I still managed to pull at the corners of my mouth and smile. Mrs. Anderson stood up, leaning on her cane. Jessica, come to the study with me. I have something to tell you. Jessica said something to me and then helped Mrs. Anderson upstairs. Liam stared coldly at their retreating backs. When they weren't looking, he brushed his hand over his thigh, as if there was something dirty there. Then he pulled my hand. Alex, we brothers haven't seen each other for many years. Why don't you stay over tonight? I sneered inwardly. With acting skills like these, he still wants to get into the entertainment industry. His attitude towards me at school before and now, this sudden change. If he wasn't up to something, what else could it be? I glanced upstairs. I don't know. I have to ask my sister. If she agrees, then I can stay. I said this deliberately, and Liam, as expected, believed me. I knew it. What did you know? I asked. Liam raised his eyebrows smugly. Nothing. I'll go upstairs and prepare a room for you. I followed him up. When we reached the study door, I stopped. I could hear Mrs. Anderson's low growl from inside. Insolent. Insolent. Now, even you won't listen to me. Jessica's cool voice followed immediately. Grandma, you're getting on in years. You've played enough. It's time to stop and cultivate your mind and body. Mrs. Anderson's cane struck the floor, making a dull thud. Tonight, you must bring that Alex to my side. My body stiffened, all the blood seeming to rush backwards, my hands clenched tightly. So Liam was also planning this, but I was only angry, no longer afraid. All these years by Jessica's side, I hadn't slacked off in brainwashing her, nor had I failed to remind her overtly and covertly to seize control of the Anderson family's power, so she wouldn't be at Mrs. Anderson's mercy. Oh, right. Mrs. Anderson going abroad early in this life was also partly my doing. I was the one who spread the rumor that an elixir of immortality had been developed on an island abroad, and Mrs. Anderson already knew about that island, so she naturally believed it without a doubt. The study suddenly fell silent. Then Mrs. Anderson's terrified voice rang out. "You? What are you doing? Jessica, are you trying to harm me? I'm your grandmother." Jessica laughed coldly, her voice seeming to emanate from hell, carrying a bone-chilling coldness. "Grandma, you're old. I said you should cultivate your mind and body. However, I don't care how you play outside, and that Liam has nothing to do with me. You could torment him however you like. But Alex is my bottom line. A reminder for you. Don't touch him." Mrs. Anderson's aged voice trembled. "You? What do you want? What can you do to me?" Jessica let out an almost inaudible chuckle. "I can't do much to you, but you're old. It's quite normal for you to suddenly die, don't you think?" Jessica, what are you doing?" Mrs. Anderson cried out in pain. "Just kidding. Don't take it seriously," Jessica said with a lazy smile. I only heard up to this point before turning and going downstairs. Soon, Liam also came down, excitedly telling me, "I've already prepared a room for you, Alex. You must stay tonight." "He won't be staying." Jessica's calm voice drifted down from upstairs. Liam's body stiffened, and he reflexively let go of my hand. Jessica descended the stairs in a few steps and came to my side. "Are we leaving now?" I shook my head. "Let's eat first. We should at least have a meal with Grandma." Jessica's deep gaze silently watched me for a moment. Then she nodded. At the dinner table, I became very talkative, seemingly having endless things to say to Mrs. Anderson. Mrs. Anderson even praised me for my sweet talk. Jessica naturally noticed my unusual behavior, but she said nothing, just ate slowly and gracefully. My peripheral vision shifted from her, and I continued talking to Mrs. Anderson. "Grandma, you probably don't know, but brother is the heartthrob of our school. It's only been a few days since school started, and he already has a large group of admirers." Liam's hand loosened, and his chopsticks fell to the floor. The smile on Mrs. Anderson's lips froze for a second. Then she smiled again, asking a servant to pick up the chopsticks and get Liam a new pair. "Be careful," she reminded him. Liam's voice trembled slightly. "Grandma, don't listen to Alex's nonsense. No girls are chasing me." "How can you say that? I saw them all." I chuckled. "Are you shy in front of Grandma? Bro, you're 18. You can date. Grandma wouldn't forbid you from dating, would she?" Liam lowered his head and ate, muttering a command. "Shut up." As if suddenly remembering something, he looked up at Jessica. "Little brother has many admirers at school too, sister. Don't you mind?" Jessica turned to look at me, reached out, and patted my head again. "The most important thing for you right now is to study. We'll talk about it after you graduate from college." I nodded. A flicker of unwillingness flashed in Liam's eyes. But when he met Jessica's gaze, his face turned pale, and he quickly lowered his head. His hand holding the chopsticks was trembling. After dinner, Jessica took me away. She was very quiet on the way, not saying a word. Back home, I was about to go straight upstairs when Jessica's voice sounded from behind me. "Want to see a good show?" I turned around. "What good show?" This I genuinely didn't know. "Come with me." Jessica took my hand and led me upstairs to her study. She turned on her computer, and as soon as she clicked on a software, Liam's heart-wrenching screams filled the room. "Grandma, I didn't. I really didn't." "No, Grandma, I beg you." It hurts. Grandma, it hurts. Stop hitting me." My insides began to tremble, followed by my entire body. Suddenly, I reached a breaking point. I forcefully covered my ears. "No, no." Jessica quickly turned it off and hugged me tightly. "Alex, don't be afraid. It's all Sister's fault. Sister's fault." I pushed her away, pounding the floor with my fists. "Why? Why did you let me hear this?" "Jessica, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." I hated Mrs. Anderson. I hated Liam. I wanted them to die horrible deaths. Jessica just stood there motionless, waiting for me to vent. I don't know how long I hit until my arms were tired, completely drained of strength. Then I stopped. Feeling better? Jessica sighed, hugging me again, gently patting my back. I'll never show you this kind of thing again. I nodded. I just wanted to tell you rich people are rarely good. Look at how that old woman treats your brother. I wanted you to understand. Stay away from Mrs. Anderson in the future. If it's not me, don't go with anyone who calls for you. Do you hear me? I nodded again. Then I looked up at her. Are you not a good person either? Jessica was amused by my question. What do you think? I looked at her carefully. In my heart, Jessica had never been a good person, but over these many years, she was indeed very harsh to me at first, but that only lasted for about half a year. After that, and up until now, she has been truly very good to me. Alex, I'm not a good person, Jessica said, looking into my eyes. But I will try to be a good sister. I will protect you and not let you suffer any harm. I shook my head. You don't need to try. You're already a good sister. Jessica chuckled lightly. Is your standard for a good sister that low? I also laughed, feeling much lighter. Then you should hold yourself to a higher standard. Jessica pulled me out of the study. That brother of yours, you should stay away from him too. I'll talk to your school and have him move to another dorm. No, I grabbed Jessica's hand, stopping her. Jessica turned around. Don't tell me you couldn't see it tonight. He wanted to hand you over to that old woman to be tortured. And you still consider him your brother? No, since I was 8, I haven't had a brother now. I only have you, but I have to keep an eye on him. That way, I'll feel more secure. At worst, you can send someone to protect me. Jessica ruffled my hair again. All right, go back to your room now. Get some rest. On Monday, Liam didn't show up. Although I didn't see the specific scene that day, hearing Liam's heart-wrenching screams, I knew he had been severely tormented by that old psycho. It wasn't until half a month later that Liam finally came to school. He looked like he had lost even more weight. I feigned concern and asked him, Bro, where have you been all this time? You don't look too good. Liam reflexively cupped his cheeks, then suddenly glared at me. None of your business. I shrugged. Just concerned about you. You should be more concerned about yourself. Don't let someone break your legs, Liam said angrily before going into the bathroom. The strong scent of his perfume still lingered in the dorm. It was overpowering. After a long while, Liam came out of the bathroom, tidied himself up, and went to class. I also went to the classroom, but didn't sit with Liam. The smell of his perfume was truly unbearable. Classmates also started to complain. Liam, why are you wearing so much perfume? It's giving me a headache. Liam immediately retorted, What's so strong about it? If you can't afford designer perfume, don't be sour, okay? Everyone kept their distance from him, but Liam didn't care. However, back in the dorm, he complained to me at length. Those people in our class, none of them have much ability, but they sure have a lot of problems. What's wrong with me wearing a little perfume? I told him, Honestly, your perfume really is too strong. It's overpowering. Liam immediately shot me a glare. You're just like them. Anyway, I won't be staying at school much longer. I'm about to enter the entertainment industry. A few nights later, Liam and I were in the dorm, each doing our own thing. Liam's phone suddenly rang. After answering the call, he immediately ran over to show off to me. Alex, I'm going to be a big star in the entertainment industry. Grandma wants me to go over right now to meet directors and producers. Bad memories from my past life flooded my mind. I nodded slowly. Then you should go quickly. Liam changed into his most expensive clothes, styled his hair meticulously, and went out gleefully. Something suddenly occurred to me, and I immediately called the bodyguard Jessica had assigned to me, asking one of them to follow Liam. When they reached a private club, the bodyguard couldn't get in and called me. I called Jessica again, asking her to find a way. Jessica knew what I wanted to do, paused for a moment, and said, Tell the bodyguard to go back. I'll send someone in. I agreed and hung up, but I didn't hear from Jessica until past midnight, and by then I had fallen asleep. When I woke up the next morning, Liam hadn't returned. After washing up, I called Jessica. Did you find out anything last night? Jessica was silent for a moment, then said, It's just that sort of thing. You should be able to guess. Can I see it? I asked. Jessica didn't answer me, but instead asked, Why do you want to see this? With that, she hung up the phone. I had no classes that afternoon. Jessica came to pick me up, and took me to the apartment near the school. She played a recording for me. It was filled with men's lewd laughter. Then came Mrs. Anderson's way and perverted voice. "Liam, my dear, try a little harder. Serve these gentlemen well." Liam couldn't speak, only able to make woo-woo sounds. Mrs. Anderson was displeased. "How do I usually teach you? Don't you want to enter the entertainment industry?" Jessica picked up her phone. "All right, the rest isn't for you to hear. I'll say it again. Stay away from that brother of yours and that old woman." A brilliant idea suddenly struck me, and a smile involuntarily spread across my lips. My chin was suddenly gripped tightly. Jessica was squeezing my chin hard. It hurt. Her dark eyes stared at me, her voice low and warning. "You behave yourself. Do you hear me? It hurts." I slapped her hand away. "You're hurting me." Jessica immediately let go, then came over to check my chin. "So delicate. I barely used any force." "What more force did you want to use?" "You almost pulled my chin off," I complained. She lightly tapped my head. "Behave. Remember that. I don't know what you're thinking, but I know you don't like your brother or that old woman. If you don't like them, you can just tell me directly and I'll get rid of them. But Alex, if I find out you're pulling any tricks behind my back, I'll really beat you up." I knew Jessica was worried about me getting into trouble. That's why she said that. I went over and wrapped my arms around her neck. "Sister, you're so good." Jessica looked at me silently for a while, then sighed. "Just because you call me sister, I feel like I've thrown my whole life into this. Not worth it." I nodded, letting go of her. "Fine, then don't have me as your brother." "Don't talk nonsense." Jessica's voice deepened slightly. She didn't like hearing that. This time, Liam returned to school quickly. In the dorm, he excitedly told me, "I'm about to start filming. The script is set, and as soon as the crew is assembled, I'll start shooting immediately." "Congratulations." Liam snorted proudly and went into the bathroom again. The scent of his perfume was getting stronger and stronger. Was it to cover up Mrs. Anderson's old person smell? Before filming started, Liam still attended classes normally. But these past few days, he was clearly much more active than before, telling everyone he was about to join a film crew. Some classmates engaged with him, and naturally, some were envious. When I entered the classroom that day, I saw a group of people surrounding Liam. "Can you give me a part?" "I don't ask for much. Just being an extra is fine. My line delivery is pretty good. Give me a couple of lines." Liam was thoroughly enjoying this feeling of being the center of attention. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Ah, why does it stink so much? Did someone poop? So disgusting." The crowd that had been surrounding Liam instantly dispersed. Others also packed their things and ran out of the classroom. I was about to run out with everyone else when I saw Liam standing frozen in place. Someone behind said Liam pooped his pants. That classroom was aired out, and we were moved to another one, but Liam was gone. After class in the afternoon, Jessica came to pick me up. "Your brother is in the hospital again. Did you know?" I knew Liam was probably in trouble again, but I didn't know he was in the hospital. "Why?" Jessica coughed lightly. "Let's not talk about it. I don't want to gross you out." I thought about the scene in the classroom today, then about everything Liam had been through, and did some research online. Even if Jessica didn't say it, I had a pretty good idea. Liam probably had an anal fistula, and his sphincter muscles weren't working, so he had lost control of his bowels and bladder. No wonder he always wore such strong perfume. It was to cover up the smell, but clearly the smell couldn't be covered up. I thought for a moment and asked Jessica to take me to the hospital. She was silent for a while, but still took me. I went into Liam's hospital room. She and the bodyguards waited at the door. "Bro." As soon as I reached his bedside, Liam started screaming like a madman. Jessica came in, made sure I was okay, and then went out again. "Get out." Liam's face was pale like a vengeful ghost crawled out of hell. His face etched with unwillingness and resentment. "Are you here to laugh at me?" I sighed. "Bro, don't be like this. I'm genuinely worried about you. Even though you can't be a big star anymore, you should still think about Grandma. Grandma is old and her heart isn't good. She takes medicine every day. If something really happens to you and it upsets her, what will Grandma do?" I deliberately emphasized big star, heart condition, and takes medicine. I thought Liam would understand. Sure enough, Liam, who had been raging on the bed, suddenly stopped looked up at me, and burst out laughing. Jessica came in again and dragged me out. Liam was still laughing hysterically. Jessica dragged me all the way into the car and sternly asked, "What were you doing?" "Didn't I tell you? If you want to do something, tell me and I'll do it." "Who gave you permission to take risks?" She had been getting fiercer lately. "Isn't it because you're outside protecting me? I'm not even scared. What are you afraid of?" "You." Jessica glared at me. After a long pause, she turned away, looking out the window, her voice somewhat ethereal. "Alex, sister only has you." I knew she was afraid something would happen to me, but some things I wanted to do myself. I wanted to avenge myself. I went over and hugged her. "Sis, I won't let anything happen to myself." Liam didn't disappoint me either. After being discharged from the hospital, he went straight home. The next day, I received news of Mrs. Anderson's death. At that moment, the heavy mountain in my heart finally disappeared. Dead. That old psycho was finally dead. How wonderful. I didn't need anyone to tell me. I knew Mrs. Anderson died of a heart attack. Her heart couldn't bear that kind of death-like pleasure. Her medicine was gone, and she just stopped breathing. After Mrs. Anderson's funeral, Liam ran to the company saying he wanted to call a shareholders meeting. All the shareholders went as shareholders. I naturally had to be there too. Liam was surprised to see me. "What are you doing here?" I smiled faintly. "I'm a shareholder." Jessica walked between Liam and me, pulling me inside. Liam walked to the front. "Grandma is dead. She said before that all her things would be left to me. So from now on, I'm the chairman of this company." Hearing this, the shareholders looked at each other and then burst out laughing. "Young man, we came to this meeting to give you face, but you can't fool us like this." Liam's face tensed. "Who's fooling you?" "Grandma has a will." Director Jang waved his hand with a smile. "No need for a will. Your grandmother's shares have long been in President Anderson's hands. She doesn't have many assets under her name anymore." Liam was stunned. "What?" His face was full of disbelief. "How is that possible?" "This is impossible." Director Jang continued. "Now, the largest shareholder in the company is President Anderson, and the second largest shareholder is our young master, Alex." He pointed at me. Liam still didn't believe it. "This is impossible." He suddenly went mad, pointing at me, his voice shrill and piercing. "Alex, why aren't your legs crippled yet?" "Jessica, hurry up and fix his legs." "Hurry up." Jessica gave Liam a cold look and called people to throw him out. This shareholders' meeting was a joke. Jessica and I walked out together. There was a surveillance camera in the old woman's bedroom. It was Liam who deliberately took her medicine. Premeditated murder. I called the police. She thought of something and then smiled faintly. "You won't be able to get a government job, will you?" Suddenly, a piercing engine roar sounded. Jessica and I looked over at the same time. Liam was in the car, flooring the accelerator, crazily ramming towards Jessica and me. His stung face was like a demon from hell. His lips seemed to be mouthing, "Go to hell." Everything happened in an instant. I didn't even have time to react before Jessica forcefully pushed me away. Then with a bang, Jessica went flying. Liam's car crashed into the large pillar at the company entrance. He died on the spot. 2 days later, Jessica finally woke up, but the way she looked at me was as if she had become a different person. I was just about to call out when she stopped me. She asked me a thought-provoking question. "Did you choose right this life?" My body suddenly froze. You. Jessica had awakened her memories from the previous life. "You know everything." Even lying in a hospital bed, Jessica still exuded a powerful aura. "Alex, you really are my good little brother." My heart raced, and it took me a long moment to find my voice. "I'll go get the doctor." Just as I reached the door, Jessica's voice sounded again. "Alex." My footsteps halted, and I slowly turned to meet her gaze. She looked at me for a long, long time. "Have you ever considered me your sister?" she asked. I just looked at her. Jessica's gaze deepened, as if she was expecting something. "Even for a moment, did you ever have any genuine feelings for me?" I looked at the woman on the bed. Finally, I lowered my eyes and murmured, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jessica. I've been using you all along. For so many years, using you has become ingrained in my very being. All this time, I've only had myself in my heart. Besides myself, it seems I can't feel affection for anyone else." I'll go get the doctor. The doctor told me that Jessica was no longer in critical condition, but still needed to stay in the hospital for observation. I nodded. Then I'll go home and get some things for her. After packing Jessica's personal belongings, I returned to the hospital. But Jessica's bed was empty. My heart skipped a beat, feeling as if it too had become empty. A nurse's sigh came from behind me. She wasn't in critical condition anymore. How did she suddenly pass away? I stood there rooted to the spot. In that instant, it felt as if the entire world had lost its connection to me. I don't know how much time passed. It felt like a century. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded from behind. Alex, my body stiffened, and I slowly turned around. Jessica, leaning on a crutch and wearing a hospital gown, came into view. But why couldn't I see her face clearly? "Why are you crying?" she asked. I touched my cheek. It was wet, so I had been crying. My throat felt sore and hot. I opened my mouth, and after a long while, I managed to speak. "I thought you were dead." Jessica chuckled lightly. "Wouldn't that be better?" The tears completely broke free at that moment. I could feel my lips trembling violently, my voice choked with sobs. No, that way I wouldn't have a sister anymore. Seeing this, I realized Liam had been reborn with me. I had always wrapped myself in calmness and selfishness, but Jessica had bit by bit permeated my world. She was my sister, regardless of whether she was a psycho in her past life. Regardless of whether she was a good person, I didn't care. She was just my sister. Jessica walked over on her crutch, her other hand wiping away my tears. "Don't cry. Sister won't die. As long as you still need your sister, I will always be by your side protecting you." I nodded. "Okay."